Folks have been coming to the phones to share their thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the subject. Raymond Carter, who set fire to a West Baltimore CVS store during the riots following the Freddie Gray's death, was arrested yesterday. And the police commissioner stated that Raymond Carter burned a CVS, our CVS to the ground. The very same CVS that people who live in that neighborhood relied on for their medication, for their food, for their toiletries in that community. He is a criminal that took advantage of our city when we were most vulnerable.
And that's the point that I've reached out, and the question is on the table. The lines are lit. As soon as we get a vacant line, we'll let you know. First-time callers, we love to hear from you. Pick up a line. Ladies, we want to hear from you. And our millennials, we want to hear from you. Question on the table. Agree or disagree with the comment by our police commissioner, criminal or revolutionist? And have community relations improved? Let's go to the line. Gene.
Oh, yeah. Coach, we're getting close to having centennials call in. I'm almost a centennial. So anyway, this guy, what you had was a peaceful demonstration and others. I think this guy falls under the category of others. And being a other, the insurrection took on a life of its own. And this guy, I would imagine, just sort of acted out on emotion and maybe got caught up in the crowd emotion. But the bottom line is that he can become a political prisoner if he so desires. If he takes it on himself to say that what he was doing was justified, he was doing it for the revolution or whatever, then he can elevate himself to being a political person. But the bottom line is, it's the black and white is, if you are in a peaceful demonstration and you break the law, then you're a criminal.
Okay.
Simply stated out.
Got you. Thank you, partner. Let's go over to 738. James.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right.
He is no more criminal than them police officers who took the life of Freddie Gray. I find it strictly amazing how the police department, ADF, or any other agency is able to get pictures of people who they want to find when they commit a crime. But they can't find no video or pictures of police officers breaking a guy's neck and back. The guy was acting out of revolution, out of despair of the conditions in which he lived in. And now they're trying to change this whole script of arresting all these folks who they felt as though committed crimes, but then they cannot arrest the people and charge them properly within their own agency for killing a guy. Don't follow this script, people. They're trying to change this thing on you right before your eyes. But you know what? It's going to all come back and haunt them on top of the fact when those officers walk. Don't play into this mess with the police department and all the rest of these guys are trying to do to you.
Very well. 740. Let's go over here to John. John.
Morning. How you doing?
Morning.
I taught in Baltimore City schools for 40 years, and I coached for 30 years, and they just laid off Bob Wade.
Laid off or retired?
Huh?
Laid off or retired?
He was laid off.
Okay, all right.
Now, the discipline that goes on with our young people, they are followers. This guy's a criminal because our kids followed him. That's my opinion. We need more discipline within our neighborhood. I know there's a lot of mental health issues, but our kids took advantage of the situation. We can't let guys burn up CVS's and do all these other kind of things. Yeah, how you feel about this, Coach?
I concur. I concur with you. But that's just one man's opinion, and I certainly want to hear the opinion of our listeners.
I mean, you and I both came from probably education and coaching. So we probably have a different perspective. And I disagree with you on a lot of things, and I do agree on some things. But when you get rid of a guy like Bob Wade, who has done a lot to help all of these young people in Baltimore City, and then you see our city burn like that, that's crazy. You got a beautiful program in Douglas that's building up right across the street from Mondama. And they said none of the kids that were in their football program got involved in all that madness. I mean, think about it now. These people have to be arrested. They have to get their due process. I'm sorry if I'm hard on this.
Okay, thank you.
7:42. Let's go over to Aaron. Aaron?
Hi, how are you? I think this young man is being scapegoated by the commissioner. One, I think what happened here is this young man got caught up in the frenzy that was going on out there, and he made a mistake and did that. I'm not condoning what he did, but I wouldn't call him a criminal. I would call him a young man got caught up in something that went horribly haywire and did something wrong, and I think he ought to pay some penalty for it, but I wouldn't call him a criminal. And I think in some ways the police commissioner and those folks are looking for somebody to blame this whole riot on.
And once again, when we started this, and for folks who are just joining us, both LY and I said that, first of all, it's a suspect and it's alleged. And
I agree with that,
the
but
first thing that was said,
this young man got caught up in the frenzy of it and did this, and I'm not saying he was right.
well, but again, he may not, and we made it clear. The first thing that was said was that this may or may not be the person. Everything right now, he is a suspect and he is alleged. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also wondering if the police commissioner and the mayor and those folks are looking for a scapegoat for all this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm not condoning what he did, because even if he did get caught up in the moment and did what he did, there's got to be some penalty. But I would hope that, given the fact that he's a young man, I would hope that the courts would show a little bit of leniency, not a whole lot.
Thank you.
It's just 7:43. Robert, you're on the phone.
I think it's an idiotic question to even ask as someone that would set a fire virtually adjacent to a senior citizen home is a revolutionary. First of all, if he was a revolutionary, he'd been shot dead by police, because they don't surrender. Suppose your mother or grandmother or any one of those senior citizens would have looked out of that window and in a state of fright dropped dead with a heart attack, or tried to rush out of their apartment. Then? Hell no. When did it become acceptable in society to set a large building or a small building, as far as that's concerned, on fire? Was he a pyromaniac that had sexual fulfillment from watching a fire? I don't think so. These people were gutter rats, and we ain't seen the last of them yet that run through society and loot and burn. That's insanity. And their plight is not going to change because of any kind of program or anything like that. They're dumb as a brick. They're uneducated, living in the information age. And one last thing, since you mentioned the statue, George Washington stands upon that statue and he's pointing down south. And the meaning of that point down south is keep the black man down south where he belongs.
Whoa. Strong presentation by Sir Robert, huh?
Thank you.
Well, just ahead, we'll continue to take your calls. Well, we're looking at the story of
Authorities arrest suspect in the CVS fire.
that and much more. It is 7:45, and we are on Praise.
Larry Young Traffic.